Welcome back, fellow scientists, to another episode of We Roguelike It Ranking. I'm your host, Boston PhD. I'm joined as always by Dr. Moon.
Hello.
We're here to pass judgment on Risk of Rain 2. Before we talk about that, we're going to talk about our next game to I think it's our final game of the year before we go on break. We're going to play Vampire Survivors. It is finally coming to console, and it is on Game Pass. So we've been anxiously anticipating playing this game because everybody seems to all the way love it. I'm pretty excited to play it and have another game that came out this year for our top 10 lists, probably. So we're going to play Vampire Survivors. I don't believe that there's any difference on the different versions, so pick it up where you'd like. It's on PC Game Pass and console Game Pass. And if not, it's on like Steam for I think like $4 or $5. So pick it up. We're here to talk about Risk of Rain 2. Moon, why don't you tell us your final thoughts here? Let's do a wrap up and then ask the question we ask every month of, will you continue to play Risk of Rain 2?
Oh. I don't understand how the devs made a 2D game transition to 3D this well.
And make it feel the same somehow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also like somehow like have the music still be banging even though it's like different music.
Yep.
There's a lot I genuinely do love in this, not least of which is stuff like that.
Yep.
It is marred by some of the decisions they made towards the end, which we might as well talk about the elephant in the room now, which is the ridiculous last boss, the pointless last boss.
It's the stuff we've expressed concerns about for probably like the last 2 weeks, like week 3 and week 4, of just like, I don't want to go to the moon, and there are too many one-shotting enemies seemingly everywhere.
Like, just let me break the game. That's all I'm asking.
I will still love the game.
Yeah, I should be able to break the game guilt-free, essentially.
Yep.
You know, I don't know.
I continue to have the concern I think we voiced last week of, I'm still not entirely sure where to put this in the list because it is a really great game marred by late game issues.
And we will probably have and will continue to describe this as the early access curse.
Yeah.
This game's too easy. Make it harder. Go away.
Playing since 0.01 and I've had 500 hours in this game and it's too easy. It's like, yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole point of putting that many hours into a game.
Yep.
I will continue playing it because it has achievements that I need to keep getting. My apologies if I seem distracted. I'm getting assaulted by 2 different cats.
Well, and I think the great thing about Risk of Rain 2 is the great thing about the first one of, if you're kind of looking for a game that, if you're going to pick up Isaac, each one of those runs is probably going to be pretty long. If you pick up Risk of Rain 1 or 2, which if you don't have this on console or on PC, it's usually on sale both games at the same time for like $7, which is just an absolute bonkers deal. You can kind of, I think because of the unfortunate nature of the end boss, you can, excuse me, that was a sneeze. You can kind of tap out of a run whenever you'd like, which is like the only silver lining of the moon being difficult is, all right, I'm kind of done with this run now. Let's go to the moon and just kind of close this run out, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't like the fact that the artifacts are like coded messages you have to find in the environment now, because yeah, I can probably just, open it up and open up a wiki and input that
Yeah, you
stuff
just
in, but
Google it.
I don't want to. I want to collect them in the environment and then go. The
Yeah.
Luna thing is cool and horrifically terrifying all at the same time.
Yeah, the lunar coins is kind of a neat idea too, of just like here's a more precious currency than the gold you're picking up, which feels okay. Yeah.
Like there's a lot I really like about this. I probably do prefer this to Risk of Rain 1, if I'm honest, but from an objective point of view, is it as good as Risk of Rain 1? Is a completely different question. It
Right.
told the truth from the get-go, which,
That's big points for that one. Yeah. I agree with
liar.
you. I will probably continue to play this. I'll have it installed on my PS5 just like I have the first one, and it's one of those things where it's like, I'm looking for something. Yeah. Risk of Rain 2. Sure. Yeah, I could play a little bit of that. Why not? I still have stuff to unlock, still have trophies to get. Yeah. All right. Try and do a 20 stage run.
When myself or friend of the show Rob are feeling roguish, this is our go-to jump in.
That's right.
Where it's like, yeah, we could do with a roguelike right now. Let's just do this kind of thing.
Yeah. The old standby.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into our list here. We decided before the show to start this at 20. Where is it? All right, is Risk of Rain 2 better than Spelunky? Boy.
I think so. I like Spelunky. It's a classic. As finely tuned as they can be.
Yeah.
But also Spelunky feels like it's trying to kick you in the teeth every single time you play it.
Well, I think we naturally gravitate towards games that get crazier because you have a huge number of items that you're picking up, and Spelunky is much more focused. It's much more, you try and get these 2 items on a run, or synergize these 2 items together, and you'll have a good run. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Is Risk of Rain 2 better than Descenders?
Yeah, I love Descenders.
Yeah.
I love Descenders so much, but
I think Risk of Rain 2 has the polish that Descenders doesn't. No shade against Descenders, but it's a small team kind of making a complicated thing.
Yes, and Descenders is super unique.
Yeah.
But at the same time, kind of so is Risk of Rain. Mm-hmm. And I still need to get that one less character in Risk of Rain.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I would put it above Descenders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Risk of Rain 2 better than Wizard of Legend?
Speaking of things that get really, really stupidly difficult for no apparent reason.
It's like the first boss.
Dude, you think that's bad? Try the third boss.
Yeah. Oh, I never got there.
I think so.
Yeah, I think just because of its consistency of difficulty, the moon aside, lunar challenges aside. I think.
And if you could avoid like the time bandits that pull you into non-existence and the green spiky things, it really does become a cakewalk the more you loop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, let's scoot that there. Is Risk of Rain 2 better than BPM bullets per minute? I would say yeah. It's the tough part about BPM is it has its mechanic. I wouldn't call it a gimmick. I think that's mean, but it has its mechanic, and it does
it so well.
Yeah, it does it so well, and it lives by that mechanic, and that's kind of
you die by that mechanic.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the strength.
I don't mean the game, I mean you, because you're
yes, because I am so bad at it. But I think that's kind of the strength and the weakness of BPM is it does the one thing, and it does it really well, but it does that one thing. And I think Risk of Rain 2 has 10, 12 characters, and they play significantly different from each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and to be honest, we can probably use the same argument to bump it above Nuclear Throne as well. Like,
yeah, another classic, but like...
Because Nuclear Throne is not only blindingly difficult, but the character mechanics in that are not as varied, or they're just stupid, I feel like, in some places, where I just don't like them.
Right. All right, let me scooch that above Nuclear Throne 2. Is Risk of Rain 2 better than Cult of the Lamb? That's tough.
I don't know.
I like Cult of the Lamb a lot.
Cult of the Lamb is great.
My knee-jerk is that this is where Risk of Rain 2 stops.
Yeah, I could see it here, yeah.
Because I think Cult of the Lamb, and I don't think this is recency bias, but I think Cult of the Lamb is so... all of its systems click together so well. And it, like we talked about when we talked about it for the last series, it gets that loop down so satisfyingly where you're doing the Animal Crossing stuff and you're kind of done with that, so you go in the dungeon and then you're kind of done with that, so you have plenty of Animal Crossing stuff, and it has that Moonlighter kind of perfect loop where you're spending the right amount of time in either one of them and you're kind of not getting sick of either one.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I think, and I do think the Risk of Rain can be very same-ish. One of my pet peeves about Risk of Rain is the fact that, like, now I'm at the point, very much like Isaac, where every run is an hour to 2 hours to, hey, this is a 140-minute run now, because you're trying to loop 20 times for this dumb achievement, and then you die on, like level 18 because you're a moron.
It's like, it's also the curse of min-maxing too, where it's like, oh, well, I know I can take advantage of the 3D printer, so I'm going to use that to try and get the best advantage I can on level 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with it stopping here, to be honest.
Yeah, I think for me it stops here, and it's what, number 16 now? So, like, it's in our top 20, so, like, that's still a really great...
It's only, like, 4 below Risk of Rain 1.
Right. And I think Risk of Rain 1 is that high because it is largely finishable, which is a good pro for it.
It's also super unique.
Like,
there isn't a lot of, like, games that came out looking like that, feeling like that.
Yep. Having a soundtrack that rips like that.
Yeah. The next game to do it was, shockingly enough, Risk of Rain 2.
Right.
Like, we haven't played Rogue Legacy 1, so we didn't have that to compare it to, but generally speaking, sequels don't do as well as the first one because it's usually more of the same.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. Right. Hand of Fate 2 is, like, 3 below the first Hand of Fate.
Yes, it's like still in it's number 6. You know, it's sitting in a good spot. And like we've been saying, Risk of Rain 2 is really great. It just, there's issues with it, and there's a bunch of stuff that's holding it back, and it doesn't make it a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but it just maybe not as solid as the first one was, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Don't forget, our next month's game is Vampire Survivors, out now on Game Pass on PC and consoles. And we'll see you all next run. Bye.
Bye.